Hey guys, it's Michael. Today is Monday, June 1st, 2020, and there is a lot going on in the world today. In today's video, I'm going to cover big news coming from the Senate and from Congress this morning, protests and riots all across the country, stores were forced to shut down because of looting, and I'm also going to answer a number of your questions on student loan forgiveness and the first round of stimulus checks. We're going to cover all of this and more in today's video, but before we get started, I want to announce that we're doing a giveaway in today's video. And all you need to do to be eligible is like the video down below, be subscribed to my channel, and comment down below the 3 stocks I mentioned in today's video. So anyways, let's get started. Let's go into the key financial and economic news. This weekend, as protests took place in major cities all across the country, many other Americans shrugged off social distancing to enjoy warm weather, even as California, Texas, and South Carolina reported their highest number of confirmed cases to date. Face masks and social distancing were basically non-existent in many places in the country. At beaches, there were tens of thousands of people enjoying the warm weather and were not social distancing or wearing face masks. On top of this, Washington area leaders on Sunday raised alarms that widespread protests over police brutality and George Floyd could lead to a new wave of virus infections. They're saying with tens of thousands of people gathered in one place, one small area, without wearing face masks, not social distancing, well then this can lead to another outbreak and an increased number of virus cases. Even if people are wearing masks, they're saying that tens of thousands of people in one area is not good for the virus and can definitely cause a resurgence in the number of cases. According to Maryland Governor Larry Hogan, he said that when you put hundreds or thousands of people together in close proximity, when we've got the virus all over the streets, it's not healthy. He said this in a CNN State of the Union interview on Sunday. And right now, officials all across the country are concerned that with these protests and with these riots, we're going to wipe out all of the progress we've made with social distancing and with the virus thus far. They're thinking that we're going to see a resurgence in the number of cases. In addition to this, major retailers across the country are temporarily closing their stores in areas hard hit with protests against police violence. Companies like Target, Apple, Whole Foods, Walmart are among retailers that announced they would shut down locations temporarily or adjust store hours around city-wide curfews. Some Apple, Target, Whole Foods stores were damaged by looting from the riots and from the protests as demonstrations turned violent in several cities across the U.S. Target announced late on Saturday that it is temporarily closing 175 stores across the country as a result of ongoing protests. The company has 1,900 locations in the U.S., so they've had to shut down about 10% of their locations because of these protests and looting going on. In addition to this, Walmart said on Sunday evening that it would close hundreds of stores nationwide. They said this to CNBC. And also, Apple announced that it would not open many of its stores on Sunday due to protests. People have been breaking into the Apple stores, and Apple has 271 stores in the US, and about half of those stores are already closed down because of the pandemic, and half of them still haven't been open. So now they're going to close more of those down because of looting and people breaking into the stores because of protests and riots going on right now. Moving on is the head of Italy's top hospital says the virus is weakening as the country reports some of its lowest daily infections since March and since the virus started, and they are starting to begin easing restrictions. According to the head doctor in a hospital in Milan, he said that in reality, the virus clinically no longer exists in Italy. He said that new infections and fatalities have fallen steadily every day in May, and the country is unwinding some of its rigid lockdown restrictions. This is good news because we can look towards what Italy has done and what they're currently doing in order to reopen our country. While Italy did have some more intense and more structured lockdown restrictions than our country, and they were much more rigid with these restrictions, we can still look towards what they're doing and what other countries are doing to see how we can open up successfully. Moving on, I'm going to get into a couple of questions that you guys have asked before we get into the second stimulus package and big news here coming from the Senate. So the first question is, as I've been getting a lot of questions about if you have not yet received your first stimulus check, what should you do? So if you have not received your first stimulus check yet, that means that it is going to be sent in the mail. You're either going to get an EIP debit card or a paper stimulus check. A lot of you guys have been commenting that you still have not received your first stimulus check, and if you have not received it yet, it could be weeks, maybe months before you receive it, because according to the IRS, they can only send out so many paper stimulus checks each week, and it's going to take weeks and months before they can deliver all of these to everyone who still needs a stimulus payment. So just make sure if you get a debit card in the mail, make sure it's not your EIP debit card that looks like the one that is on the screen now, because that is your stimulus payment. And then the next question is I've been getting a lot is with interest rates on student loans. So currently student loans, the interest rates is 0%. There is a 0% interest rate that is assigned to all loans owned by U.S. Department of Education. And this is in effect from March 13th to September 30th, 2020. So essentially what this means is that the loan balance that you have now will be the loan balance that you have on September 30th, and it will not change. And this will happen automatically. You don't need to do anything if you are eligible for this 0% interest rate. If you are not sure what kind of loan you have, or if you qualify for this 0%, you can ask your servicer or log in to StudentAid.gov and look at your lender. So you will see if you are eligible for this, because you will not be accruing any interest on your loan. If you have any questions about this, please be sure to leave it in the comments down below, and I'll try and answer every single one of your comments. Now let's get into the second round of stimulus checks and big news from the Senate. So the Senate today, on June 1st, is back from Memorial Day recess, but it isn't all good news. The Senate calendar for June 1st says that it will convene at 3 p.m., that their first meeting today will be at 3 p.m. But however, they're not going to be talking about a second stimulus check today. All they are doing is they are proceeding to an executive session to resume the consideration of the nomination of Drew B. Tipton to become United States District Judge for Southern District of Texas. So they're talking about nominating a judge, not talking about the second stimulus package. So this isn't good news, but finally the Senate is back in session, which means that they will start talking about a second stimulus package. One thing I forgot to mention in yesterday's video is something with Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell and what he said, and this is very important for a second stimulus package. So Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell, he said that we're taking a careful look at a fourth and final bill. I mentioned this yesterday, but the important part is that he said you can anticipate the decision being made on whether to go forward in about a month. And it will be narrowly crafted, designed to help us where we are a month from now, not where we were 3 months ago. Essentially what this means is that Mitch McConnell is saying that this stimulus bill is going to be focused on reopening our economy and people working and returning to jobs, because that's what they want a month from now. It's not going to be focused on where we were 3 months ago when they wanted everyone to stay at home, social distance, and they wanted to just keep everyone safe. Now that things are starting to reopen, they want people to be able to start to return to their jobs, which is why this package is going to be looking a month from now, not 3 months ago. So that's what he means when he says that. It just basically means that what we talked about previously, that's not going to include the $600 extended unemployment benefits, because as Mitch McConnell said, that incentivizes people to stay home and they want people to start returning to work. So they're going to do more in this second bill to help incentivize people to return to work. And just as a quick recap of what is going on right now with the House Democrats have proposed and passed a $3 trillion HEROES Act, the one that we've all heard about. However, according to the Senate and the Republicans in the Senate, they said that they will not be passing this bill as it is. So right now, the Republicans in the Senate are currently talking about and developing a new stimulus bill. According to Mitch McConnell, this bill, some of his top priorities are that it has liability protections for small businesses, and that is narrowly focused on giving people the help who need it the most. So it's going to be focused on direct stimulus payments, liability protections for businesses. As of right now, we can still very much expect to receive a direct stimulus payment. It's just that the Senate is taking a long time to develop a new bill. And remember, once the Senate gets a stimulus bill passed, it will need to be passed by the House, by the Senate, and by the President. Before anything can go into a law and before we can receive actual stimulus checks, we'll need all three of these groups to sign off and pass the bill. Anyways, that's what's going on in the world today between protests and riots going on all across the country, states and businesses reopening, the Senate coming back into session after the Memorial Week recess, and new information with the second stimulus package. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video, and now we're going to go over the 3 stocks you need to comment down below to enter the giveaway. So the 3 stocks for today are General Electric, Delta, and Domino's Pizza. So those are the 3 stocks for today's video. In order to be eligible, remember that you need to like the video down below, be subscribed to the channel, and comment those 3 stocks that I just mentioned. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Don't forget to get your 2 free stocks valued up to $1,400 when you sign up for the Webull investing app, 1 free stock when you sign up for Robinhood. Thank you so much for watching. Please be sure to like the video down below, leave a comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.